Lindsay from the blog Books for Christian Girls, and today I will be talking about not only books, but their authors. So Goodreads used to have a handy dandy feature to tell you who your most read authors were on that account. And I have always said I'm going to use this information in a video. Well, the time I finally decided to do it, they removed the feature at the beginning of the year. So I had to go through and count, but that's okay because I was actually surprised at the amount of authors I found that I've read a gazillion and 8 times. So we're going to get started, but first off, I would love to know who you think is going to be my most read author. If you've followed this channel for a while, I have a feeling you probably might be able to guess, but will that guess be correct or not? We'll have to find out. So I'm going to do some honorable mentions, and then for the main ones, I'm going to find my favorite book by them and tell y'all a little bit about it. So let's get started. So the first honorable mention is Judy Bear, and I have read 9 of her books. Then we have Renee Riva at 10 books. Sandra Orchard, I've read 13 of her books. I've also read 13 books by Elizabeth Camden, 14 books by Kim Vogue-Sawyer, 14 books by Jen Toronto, 14 books by Jeanette Oak, and then also 14 books by Lisa Harris. So while these didn't make the top bracket, they all did really good, so I thought I would go ahead and give them an honorable mention because this is exciting. I've read that many of each of their books, and that's pretty cool in my opinion. So, are we ready to get started with the top bracket? Are we ready? Have you put in your guess on who do you think my top most read author will be? I'd love to know in the comments below. I have 9 that I'm going to share a book from, so let's go ahead and get started. So number 9, I have read 15 of her books, and that is Melanie Dickerson. She is known for her fairy tale retellings, but the book I would probably say is my absolute favorite by her is the second book in her Regency Spies series, and that is The Viscount's Proposal. I actually don't have it in my hands right now because I have lent it out to one of the sweet ladies at my church who's an avid reader and has read a lot of the books in my collection, and she's getting to read that one and I'm so excited. But another one I really liked by Melanie Dickerson was The Warrior Maiden by Melanie Dickerson, and it was so good because not only was it like a loose retelling of Mulan, I fangirled about this in multiple other videos, but I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was very interesting and I liked seeing the characters again, and this one just came out, so let's hype this one up a little bit more. Number 8, actually I read 22 books by this author, and I love that because I was born on June 22nd, so whenever I see 22 in a row I get excited. I'm like, that's my number! So it's very fitting that this author has this number, that I've read 22 of her books, and that was Erin Mangum. This was the hardest to pick. Ow, I just pulled my own hair. I'm in emotional distress. I just pulled my own hair. Okay. This was the absolute hardest for me to pick. My absolute favorite by her, because every book she's written I have enjoyed. I've only not read 2 of her books and they're staring at me, so I know I need to read them, but I had to pick one. And I'm pretty sure this isn't going to be a shock, but I picked Sketchy Behavior by Erin Mangum because I love this book so much. So I love this book. It's a YA contemporary, my favorite thing ever, and it's got the Homeland Security criminal justice feel to it, and it makes me so happy. And I love that she got 22 because that's my number. Fun fact there. Number 7, I have read 30 books by this author, and I had to go with the book that really got me started on this author as my favorite, because I do think it is my favorite, but it's Amy Clipston, and I've read 30 of her books, and my top one would be Roadside Assistance by Amy Clipston. This is book 1 in a great YA contemporary trilogy. Again, me and my YA, I love it, but I have talked about this book so many times. Since the beginning of this channel have I talked about this book and this trilogy. I talk about this book a lot. Like, I could just have a playlist for all the times I mentioned this book and Sketchy Behavior. I could easily do that, and it'd be the majority of my videos. And then at number 6, at 32 books, is Beverly Lewis. And I'm gonna go with The Last Bride by Beverly Lewis, but I don't know if this is actually my favorite book by this author. I would really have to think hard on that. But I do have special memories with this book because the author went on a book tour for this book, and she actually came to my area and I got to meet her, and she autographed the book. I got a picture with her. It was so sweet, and she's so nice. And so I have very fond memories of just this book in general. Number 5 is at 34 books, and I didn't find this one shocking at all. I was pretty sure she'd be up there pretty high, and that is Robin Jones Gunn, who is the author of the Christy Miller series. So I had to pick this one as my favorite book by her just because it starts off a fantastic friendship and franchise of the Christy Miller and Friends collection. And no, I have not finished this series yet. It is on my list to do. Eventually, I will finish the series, and then that number will go up even higher. Number 4 is at 45 books, and that is Lois Gladys Leopard, the author of the much-loved Mandy series. I actually, for this series and also the Christy Miller series, I didn't count the actual collection book. I just counted the actual little books once. So the Mandy series is a classic historical preteen series that has great values in it and mysteries, and it's very much a great read. And I've actually read all the books twice. So if we count rereads, then this author would be even higher. So number 3 is a little difficult to explain. So it's 53 to 49 books depending on the author because it's 2 co-writers. And it's Jerry B. Jenkins and Tim LaHaye. And of course, because I read the Left Behind Kids series, which has 40 books, and then also the majority of the adult ones, plus other ones they've done too, it's kind of at a strange amount, but I have read those, and that also wasn't shocking. Okay, positions 1 and 2. Who do you think it's going to be? I feel like a lot of people are going to think that a certain one is number 1. But, are you ready? So coming in at number 2 with 56 books is the author Janice Hannah Thompson. Are you shocked? I really thought she would be my number 1, but number 1 makes sense. So for the most read authors, she comes in at number 2, and I counted both of her books from Janice Hannah and Janice Thompson together because it's the same wonderful writer, and the one I picked as probably my favorite, it's hard to pick, is Love Finds You and Poetry Texas, and it's a historical with matchmaking, and I love those. And honestly, it became a recurring joke on this channel that, oh, it's not a Lindsey video if Janice Thompson is not mentioned. And it's not a lie because I do mention her books a lot. So number 1, at 71 books. I have read 71 of this author's books. 71. And that is Melody Carlson. I picked a random book for this video of the Secret Life of Samantha McGregor series because I would say this is probably my favorite series by this author. But honestly, she has a lot of different ones like the Carter House Girls and the On the Runway that I also enjoyed. But the thing is, Melody Carlson was my first Christian fiction author. And when I came into this genre at about 11, 12, I had just come off reading a lot of different secular YA books, so I was still very much in the mindset of all the teen drama and that I loved it. And while now it's definitely not my favorite anymore, I do have fond memories with a lot of these books, and she is my most read author. Which makes perfect sense because Melody Carlson has written so many books, like over 200 or crazy amount of books, like a lot of books, and I've read 71 of them. So, are you shocked? I was a little shocked when I first saw these results, but at the same time, it kind of makes sense. So I would love to know who you think is your most read author. Was it a shock about my most read author? And then why don't you actually go to Goodreads and figure out who your most read author is? You'll have to go through and count on your read shelf who comes up the most, but it wasn't that difficult, and I just put on some music and had a calculator and we went to town. And that's how this video was made. Yep. And that's really it for this video. I so hope you enjoyed it, and thank you so much for watching. I'm Lindsey from the blog booksforchristiangirls.blogspot.com, where in 2019 there's a new review every Friday, and I hope to post a new video on this channel every other Thursday, hopefully, and I'm on Instagram somewhat often. See y'all next time. Bye!